God, there's something in my wrist that hurts like a son of a bitch. I think I've been having a lot of pain lately in my, it's between my index finger and my middle finger. I actually think that I'm having pain there because I've been playing a lot of Balatro, which requires a lot of clicking. So when you're clicking, as much as you click in Balatro, I think it gets you. Speaking of which, I will be uploading a Balatro file to this channel shortly. It's already on Indie Game Cloud as per Nathan. For my big run. The big run where I scored, Nathan wants to undersell it and say 100 million. I believe I scored over 35 billion in a hand, but he wants to call it the 100,000 or whatever he's lowered it to. I do want and hope that Zhao will be here, Nameless is his name on YouTube, for when we go over the Homerun Derby, because we've got some chuckles that will be had regarding Jazz Chisholm. But for now, we're going to switch it up a little bit here. We're going to start with the NFL. We had some NFL news today, believe it or not. Apparently, Garrett Wilson doesn't care about winning because he signed a 4-year, $130 million contract extension with the New York Jets. The guaranteed money is $90 million, so he's going to find himself a loser for the entirety of his career. That's it for the NFL news, apart from Juwan Jennings that's the wide receiver. Yeah, he wants a contract extension apparently, and or to be traded or something like that. So doesn't sound like he's very happy. They're not going to have money to pay him, so yeah, it appears that he might get either traded or extended, and he wants it before the start of the season. He did catch almost 1,000 yards last year. I don't trust him. I wouldn't pay him myself. I don't know. I don't think they're going to pay him. How can you pay him when you've already got so much money in Brandon Ayuk in a movable contract? You've already got George Kittle, way too much money. You've got a lot of money to Christian McCaffrey, a ton of money to Brock Purdy. I don't see how they're going to be able to pay that guy. So I would expect him to get traded, and I wouldn't expect for him to net a whole lot in the trade market, given that he's only had one good year in his career. That's just the way the cookie crumbles there. I do need to wait for Nameless for this next piece of news, so I'm just going to sift through. Let's get caught up on what we missed yesterday. So, yesterday was an off day. I didn't really feel like coming in because the Blue Jays lost, and I did expect them to lose to the Oakland Athletics. The good news is the Yankees also lost, so the Jays still have a 2-game lead on the Yankees. Kind of the funny thing right now is everything's just all over the place. The Jays lead the division at 55-41. They've only got a plus 17 run differential. So they are actually the worst of the top 4 in the division for run differential. The Yankees, 111 run differential, but, it's the Yankees. They do what they got to do. So Jays obviously have to plug up some holes, if we're being honest here. The Red Sox find themselves on like a fucking tear right now. They've won 10 in a row, which is hilarious. So they've actually leapfrogged the Tampa Bay Devil Rays for second place. Plus 61 run differential, which is the exact same of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, who are, starting to dwindle a little bit. I mean, they're 5.5 games back of the division title, but only 2.5 back of a wild card, I believe. 1.5, sorry. So they're still in the fight, but I mean, they're only 3 games above 500. That doesn't really look that impressive. And Baltimore's done. I mean, they're 43-52. Look for them to offload anyone who's not young at the trade deadline. Speaking of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, we have some good news for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. There has been a sale of their ball club for $1.7 billion. The club was purchased by some idiot named Stuart Sternberg back in 2004 for $200 million. So a good net gain there. They are going to keep it in Tampa rather than St. Petersburg, which I would assume requires a new ballpark to be made for them. good news because they were cheapskates. So very nice that that owner is out. Let's hope the same thing happens to the Oakland Athletics owner as well. We got some. You talking about Gerard Mayo? What kind of odds would I give you for the Orioles making the playoffs over the Jays? I would give you at least 25 to 1, just spitballing. I don't know exactly what I would give you. Also, welcome to the Thunderclad Nameless, but I don't know what I'd give you for odds, but I'd give you at least 25, maybe even 50 to 1. Because that's just a huge stretch right there. That's a huge stretch. But anyways, good news for Tampa. Hopefully they get an owner that'll come in and spend some money because, you know, they produce a lot of talent, but they can't keep it because their owner's too fucking cheap. So that's not all the baseball news that we have before we get to the Derby. We're going to go over every pick that the Toronto Blue Jays have made this year in the draft. And I do mean we're going over every last motherfucking pick that we made. Actually, the first guy that we took in the draft, JoJo Parker, 18-year-old shortstop, likely to kick over to third base. Left-handed bat, considered by many to be the best overall bat, you know, because he's got great plate discipline, good contact, good power. He's 18 years old, though, so we might not see him for 5 fucking years. It is a real name. JoJo Parker is a real name, and it's spelled Jojo Parker. He's out of Purvis, Mississippi. We'll see what happens. I mean, I like drafting like guys that are shortstops early, as does the rest of the league. I believe 24 of the top 30 picks were shortstops or something like that, so you're always going to take those. It's the most athletic position, right? And then you can always kick them if they've got a bat where they need to go, right? I mean, the profile is considered high. I'm going through 2 sites here just to see. Sound left-handed swing, manages the strike zone well, a gap-to-gap approach, solid arm strength. It sounds like he's going to kick over to third, potentially second, but sounds more like a third baseman if he does have the bat. What was the next guy that we took here? It was some guy named Jake Cook, so 22-year-old out of the University of Southern Mississippi. We'll see what happens there. I'll see if I can find any scouting on him. Looks like he was a 3rd-round pick. We must have somehow lost our 2nd-round pick. Now, he's a guy you could see sooner rather than later. When I say soon, I don't mean next year. I mean, you know, within 3 years. Okay, so he's got his toolsy. Didn't look like a pitcher. Okay, so he must have sustained an injury or some shit. Good runner. Okay. So, I don't know. Good runner usually tells me Anthony Gose. Next guy we took was Micah Bugnum, a right-handed pitcher out of Dallas Baptist University, 21 years old. This was a Canadian-raised right-hander. Pretty good strikeouts and 80 strikeouts in 62 innings. Is there anything about his stuff listed, though? Oh, wow. This is a guy, actually, we had drafted in the 2022 draft, and he was considered one of the best Canadian prospects back then. We had taken him in the 16th round, but obviously he wanted to go back and prove his worth some more. So he did up his profile, I guess, from a 16 to a 4th round pick. Decent fastball, 92 to 96. Looks like he throws a curve, changeup, etc. I mean, it's got a few pitches on the go. Kind of interesting, though. We drafted him twice, so obviously we do like the motherfucker for sure. Let me see what Zhao is saying here. You should be released for that name. Guess the Jays don't take no means no for an answer. Well, do you know that the Toronto Blue Jays drafted Chris Bryant? We drafted Chris Bryant back in the day. Now, obviously, that was like a 20th. He was like a 20th round pick or something like that. And then he ended up becoming a first round pick, if not the first overall. I forget. But yeah, we did have Chris Bryant. And smartly, he did not sign. Shut the fuck up. I swear to God, Sage, I want you on high alert. If this moron continues to flap his gums, I don't care. You shut him down, Sage. You shut him down. He would have made the playoffs with the Jays, and we had good teams. Remember? Kansas City, 2015, 2016, we had some good runs. So, and maybe with Chris Bryant, we could have moved the needle a little bit more, you know? Shut the fuck up respectfully. That's all I'm going to say. This is a draft episode. This isn't a make fun of the Toronto Blue Jays roast, okay? You don't hear me roasting Jazz Chisholm yet now, do you? You don't hear me ripping him for only getting 3 home runs in the fucking entire Homerun Derby tonight. You don't hear me talking shit about that. You don't hear me saying that the next closest to him had 16 and James Wood. You don't hear me saying that about him. So please, don't come in here and roast me when I'm not roasting your shitty ass Jazz Chisholm. He won the MVP in the World Series in 2016. Actually, 15. Matt Olson. Well, Matt Olson didn't make it either, but he hit more home runs than the Jazz Chisholm by 5. 15, sorry. But the Home Run Derby coverage will be interesting. We'll get there. I see that you're very eager to go over that, but we need to go over all these picks, like I said. So, interesting 4th round pick. I mean, always safe to go pitcher, even if they don't turn out. Next pick the Jays took was another Canadian, so a high school infielder from Alberta. One of the most impressive hitters on this year's Canadian national junior team. Actually, and this is Tim Piston, 18-year-old, third baseman. So we'll see what happens there. I think this is the last scouting report that we have. So he's the... Okay. He is also using as a reliever. So it's going to take a while to get ready, but he's got a very good arm. But it seems like he's most likely going to be a third baseman, so kind of interesting there. We're sticking with Canada. A lot of Canadians were drafted in this draft, though, by teams not just the Blue Jays, obviously. Well, tell that to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They seem to churn out pitchers left, right, and center. Now, here's where we just get to the meat and potatoes of what the Jays did. We're not going to run any sort of scouting reports on them because there is none. We took Eric Snow, a shortstop from Auburn University, 21 years old. We took Dylan Watts, a right-handed pitcher out of Auburn University. The only thing I'm going to say about this guy is he can throw up to 99 miles an hour already. He's 21 years old. ERA wasn't great, but I kind of like that upside of like, okay, worst case, maybe he's potentially a bullpen arm, you know what I mean? We took Danny Thompson Jr., another right-handed pitcher out of UNC Greensboro, 22 years old. Doesn't say anything about his stuff. We took, go figure, another right-handed pitcher out of Mississippi State, Carson Ligon. Mid to high 90s with the fastball. Okay, I mean, that's what you're kind of looking to hear. Austin Smith, outfielder out of University of San Diego. We've got our first left-handed pitcher off the board in round 11, Jared Spencer. Mid-90s fastball, mid-80s slider, and a changeup. I mean, we can't really look at stats at that point. You know, he is kind of looks like Carrot Top, though, if you see the picture that I'm looking at here. Then we take another outfielder that switch-hitted bat, actually. Looks like a potential leadoff hitter if he pans, Blaine Bullard, but I mean, we're getting into the nitty gritty here. I mean, any one of these can pan, most of them won't. Trace Baker, pitcher, right-hander. Nothing about his stats, though. Another right-handed pitcher, Noah Palmise. Nothing about his stats. Outfielder, Jake Casey, 22 years old. Bats left. So it seems like we're really trying to get a balance of hitting with, switch hitters and that sort of thing. But that's up till round 14. I closed the next 6 picks accidentally, so you guys will have to go to Google. Actually, no, we're going to complete the mission. We're not, we're going over the next 6 picks. I don't give a fuck. We won't have anything to go by, but we're going over the next 6 fucking picks. I heard the Yankees drafted a guy with a weird name last night. There's Zhao. So we got Jackson West, a catcher. Usually we draft more catchers than that. So he is looks like a college player. We've got Jordan Rich, an outfielder. Will Cresswell, a center. By center, I mean catcher. Luke Kovach, a pitcher. And then Ty Peoples, for the people, an outfielder. So there you have it. That's the Jays draft so far. I believe the draft goes on much further than that, unless they do cap it off at 20 rounds now. Before I know it used to go like 50 some. Dax Kilby. That is a weird name. That is a very strange name. Now, did any of you guys actually take the time to watch the Homerun Derby tonight? It was a pretty interesting affair, I will say. We put a little money on it. So let's break it down. So when you bet on the Homerun Derby, most of the time you do not want to bet on the front runners. Tonight, Cal Raleigh got in by an inch, and he did win as one of the 2 front runners. It was him and O'Neill Cruz from a betting standpoint. Now, Cal Raleigh literally, when I say he got in by an inch, I mean he literally got in by less than an inch. We'll go over it shortly. But we put money because they were huge underdogs. We put money on Brent Rooker, who we were like, not so sure of. We both really liked Junior Caminero. So if either of those $5 bets had panned, it would have been at least $55 each for whoever wins between the two, right? Because there's no point in going 2 to 3 odds, and like last year, Teoscar Hernandez was like a 10 to 1 odd guy, right? And that's a guy I really liked. That was a guy I would have bet on. So this year we did make a little sprinkle. First round, Brent Rooker did get the win over James Wood, 17-16. James Wood did hit a 486-foot shot. Showcased some good power, of course, but didn't quite get the job done. So we're not mad at you on the Team Rodfather. We're proud of you for actually showing up and putting on a show there. Now, the next thing, did they face off? They didn't face off, sorry. They don't do face-offs anymore. Anyways, round 1, Brent Rooker, 17 home runs, 16 for Wood. Caminero and Cruz Jr., or O'Neill Cruz Jr., whatever his name is, both hit 21 in the first round. Although the tiebreaker goes to O'Neill Cruz because he hit like a 513 or 14-foot shot. So he definitely put on a show in the first round for sure. Byron Buxton hit 20 home runs, so definitely looked good in the first round. Cal Raleigh hit 17, so he was tied with Brent Rooker. Think of that. That's your 4-5 there. And Matt Olson put 15 on the board. So basically, Cal Raleigh and Brent Rooker each hit their home runs at 470 and change. And because of which they don't do swing-offs, I guess, if they're tied. So they literally take it down to like the micro inch. Because it was less than an inch. So that's how Brent Rooker got eliminated by the guy that went on to win the Homerun Derby, Cal Raleigh. In the next round, though, it was very disappointing for Byron Buxton. He just couldn't get it going. So he only hit 7 home runs, and all Caminero needed was to hit 8. So he hit 8 in a minute. So he would have definitely went on and hit way more. Cal Raleigh hit 19 in the second round. O'Neill Cruz only hit 13. And then it went to the finals where I think it was 18 to... I see that the picture that I probably used is... Oh, no, I used a different picture. Never mind. I was going to say it's incomplete. I don't know. But it was 18 to 15. So Caminero was really steamrolling late. And if he could have just stayed hot up until the last 3 or 4 swings, probably at least ties Cal Raleigh. But, it wasn't meant to be. I think it's a great bet, honestly. Yeah, O'Neill is his first name. His father named him O'Neill because he was a Paul O'Neill fan. So that's why O'Neill Cruz is named what he is because of Paul O'Neill, who is far better than Derek Jeter. That's all I'm going to say there. Let's go back here. Let's take a look here. So yeah, that's your home run derby. It was a good derby. Good bets. Disappointing though. I feel like they still should have like tiebreakers in the first round. Like if you're 17-17, like just let them slug it out, bitch. You know what I mean? Motherfucker. Now I did not have a chance to do this yesterday, so I am going to do it today. Our all-star standings as well as all-star scores for the Pete Rose Bowl cut are as follows. I'm currently leading Vlad the Impaler's 10-6. Tommy Callahan's Auto Parts is up 10-6 over Alejandro's astounding team. The Dark Sliders took a step back. They're only up 10-5 against Graham's great team. Bases Loaded IBB has taken a slight step back, up 11-5 over Annette's awesome team, or astounding. I don't know which it is. As we already know, the standings, Sage is in first. I'm in second. Alejandro's astounding team is in third for the time being. Vlad the Impaler is fourth for the time being. The Dark Sliders fifth. Annette's awesome team sixth. Graham's great team seventh. And he'll move to the cellar soon. And Bases Loaded IBB 8th. I almost said 5th. That would have been a big slip there. That's all we got. That's all we got for tonight. Yes Network announcer and renowned baseball kicker. What do you mean by a baseball kicker? He was a bat. He was a bat. Oh, did you get the Jokerless challenge done yet, Nameless, or no? You having some troubles with the Jokerless challenge area? Kicks left. You gave up for the day? At what time did you pack it in? And after how many hours? And how far did you get? There's no such thing as luck in Balatro. You control your own destiny by the moves that you make. You don't get lucky in Jokerless. I've beat Jokerless twice. I didn't get lucky. I didn't pray to some fake god. I just took care of business. Ante 5 after about 10 runs. Your own schedule. Your own schedule. I'm being sent probably a Trojan horse virus. I'm going to take a quick look at this video, though. Shit. Copy link address. Post that son of a bitch here.
From the night. Base hit right field, but they're going to have to hold Jelks at third. Going now, the ball gets away from O'Neill. He kicks it to Benzinger.
No, I do not believe this. This is the all-timer, Tommy. The absolute all-timer.
He kicked the ball to Todd Benzinger.
Absolute all-time play I may have ever seen. Paul O'Neill gave up on the ball. He assumed with a base hit and unable to get the handle that Steve Jelks was going to score. Steve Jeltz had to hold up because of the line drive past Benzinger.
Oh my God. It would have been, I was actually expecting it to be a bit more dramatic. I thought he was going to kick it to like first base and get the guy out. That's what I was initially fucking expecting. That would have been fucking epic, honestly. When you literally get the exact same cards you discarded, that's shit luck. I mean, it's not good luck, but, there's no such thing as clutch in Bellotro unless you're talking about myself. I'd be very willing to help you out and teach you the ropes a little bit for a small fee of $12.99 per day. I can help you get the Joker list covered. How's that sound? I just see your Steam message now. Yes, geez, midnight already. Kind of hard to believe, actually, when you say it like that, too. I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, just, holy fuck, where'd the day go? The only thing you can clutch while playing Bellotro is a can of beer. Well, it helps loosen me up a little bit. I do consider beer in Bellotro to be performance enhancing. Do not get me wrong. And you're damn right I clutch a goddamn beer when I play Bellotro because it gets scary. It gets very scary, and you need to be clear-headed when you play. So, I take that as a compliment, and you're damn right I clutch. That's why you're unclutched, because you're just not clutching a beer. I'll send you some of our finest Molson Dry Ice, 6%, and we'll see if it improves your Bellotro game. But you're going to have to pay the shipping and the beer fees, too. Not buying, that shit ain't cheap anymore. Justin Trudeau fucking put an end to that. Oh no, Paul George is injured again. Oh, what else is new? Arthroscopic knee surgery? Say it ain't so. Now, I don't know. I think John Morosi's a fucking idiot. I'm just going to say it right now. John Paul Morosi, whatever the fuck it is. But, he's kind of trying to float around. The Jays might be interested in Zach Gallen or Mitch Keller. Zach Gallen, I'd buy low on him, but are the Arizona Diamondbacks going to sell low on a guy who's been, legitimately, ace-worthy when he's having a fucking shit 5.40 ERA year? I wouldn't. If I was them, I wouldn't sell low on him, so I don't know. There's only, I believe the Blue Jays, there's only two prospects the Blue Jays are kind of considering untouchable. One of them is Arjun Nimala, and I think the other one might be Trey Levine, or Laverne, don't know how to say his fucking name, pitcher. Other than that, I mean, I have no problem trading Orelvis Martinez, Ricky Tiderman, etc. If it's a Mitch Keller or a Zach Gallen, I'm pretty pumped about that. I did forget to report, my bad, that Cal Raleigh is the first catcher and switch hitter to win a home run derby. Just an interesting note. He does bring Seattle to their fourth win for home run derbies. Obviously, the first three were going to Ken Griffey Jr. Almost said Ken Griffey Sr. there, though. His contract ends. All right. Well, let me fact check you there. Let's check Zach Gallen, Spotrac. Because I don't think his contract is ending. Now, I could be wrong. If it is, I don't know. I would go certainly... Yeah, you're right. So, they avoided arbitration with a 1-year, $13.5 million deal. I think I'd rather have Mitch Keller. If I have to give up something notable, especially with Chris Bassett and Max Scherzer becoming free agents, I think I'd kind of rather buy the guy that's contract ends in after 2028, and it's a deal that's, I know it's crazy to say, it's not a cheap deal, but it's not an expensive deal either. His deal is 5 years, $77 million. I think Mitch Keller makes more sense for the Blue Jays. they usually want to go after controllable guys. Now, what is David Bednar contract like? Not that, I mean, that would be a blockbuster if you could get both of them, but I'm just kind of curious. Because the Jays relievers are the number one thing to get. Arbitration, so you'd get him for 2 years. So potentially a guy to get there. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of people on the move, I think, this year at trade deadline. I don't like that Zach Gallen is a fucking Boris Corporation motherfucker. Fuck you, Scott Boris. So yeah, you're right. You probably do have to sell Zach Gallen. I think they're going to trade Eugenio Suarez as well. I heard Jake McCarthy's going to be traded. Jake McCarthy's a shitty fucking player, though, so I don't really care. What did David Bednar do? Did he shit the bed or something? I'd rather take Mitch Keller for sure. Maybe as a buy low. Did I have David Bednar last year? It seems like I might have. I seem to remember him doing bad. High ERA, and well, this year is a 2.53, sparkling. Last year, 4.8 FIP, 5.77 ERA, 1.4 WHIP last year. So I don't know what happened to him last year, but you're right. He did have two All-Star appearances before that, so I think it kind of looks like an anomaly last year. But yeah, you're right. Negative 0.9 ERA or WHIP, or WAR, sorry. So that's certainly not going to get the job done. But again, I wouldn't give up much for a reliever. I wouldn't give up much at all. Mitch Keller, yeah, I'd trade something for him. He's worthy of it. But relievers grow on trees, man. You can find them fucking anywhere, and you don't always have to pay fucking money. It's why I would not pay like crazy fucking money. Like when we fucking signed BJ Ryan to a fucking 5-year, was it a 4-year, $40-some million deal back in the day, which it would equate to like 20-some million now. Just a foolish amount of money, honestly. Just foolish. The AJ Burnett contract wasn't that bad. 5 years, 55. That's pretty low, given that he was a starter. I wouldn't overpay for relievers. I think there's always a bargain out there. Robert Victor Ryan? Is that his fucking name? Is Robert Victor Ryan? He was good that first year. Holy fuck. But then that slider, that slider fucked him. Robert Victor Ryan. What a fucking name. It's kind of crazy. I bet he's like he's probably like a 50-year-old man right now. Probably legit 50. It's crazy. All these fuckers are getting old. Yeah, I remember Aaron Walter Hill. I do remember that. Joshua Eric Towers. Let's not talk about him. Troy Edward Gloss. Funny that you bring up Troy Gloss. Dan was telling me a story about Gloss. Gloss is one of a handful or two handfuls of players that competed in a home run derby and did not get a home run. In 2001 when he was with the Angels, didn't get a home run. Home run derby obviously different back then than it is now. But yeah, it's fucking kind of impressive when you think about it. And then you say Alexis Israel Rios, yeah. Alex Rios is a pretty good player. I do like Alex Rios. I remember we were big after Matt Cain and or Tim Lincecum for Alex Rios. So, Nameless says, you know what's really fucking weird? His name is always pronounced as Gloss, like the German Klaus, not Gloss as in Santa Claus. Claus, sorry. That's true. This is an EA game in 2023, so you'd think they'd know how to say his name correctly by now. Well, the first thing you said was EA, and when I hear EA, I hear just extremely unacceptable. They're terrible. They're just terrible fucking company. They just half-ass every fucking game they make. I'm sorry for all you people out there that play The Sims or fucking like FIFA or fucking Call of Duty or whatever the fuck it is. It's definitely not in the game. You're right, EA is definitely not in the game. EA was good before they ballooned. Until they ballooned, like when they ballooned into like a huge ass franchise, then they just became shit. They just got lazy. Everything sports related is just fucking fantasy, just roster updates over and over and over again. I hate EA with a passion. I hope that they fucking go out of business, honestly, because they're terrible. Yeah, electronic farts is what I see too. Except I think it's more of an electronic shart, if you ask me. They're shitting all over that screen, and you fucking know it. I fucking hate EA. How is it that games that were made prior to 2010 are not as real? Like, how are games now not more realistic than games made prior to 2010? Like, I remember, and EA was never ESPN 2K5. Exactly. MVP Baseball was fucking awesome. That was a fucking good game. Now, I don't think they developed it. I think they just published it, right? But, I mean, they should have kept that alive, honestly, because MVP could have been just as big or better than MLB The Show. In fact, I believe what happened when they disbanded MVP Baseball, a lot of those people went to work for, PlayStation Studios to make MLB The Show. So that's where, they got their legs or whatever a bit too. So, yeah, MVP Baseball 2004, 2005. Two of the best ball games ever made, for sure. In terms of Madden games, I mean, I think once you get past Madden 08, the game turned stale. It was I think you're kind of looking for the best Madden games. You're probably looking at Madden 05, 06, 08. Maybe 2010's the last one that was pretty good because defenses were hard to get. They fucking throw a cover two at you, and it was fucking hard, man. It was fucking hard sometimes. If you weren't fucking smart, it was fucking hard against that AI. And I was one of those ones, I played in the fucking, when there was defenses, and I played against all Madden. And I was a fucking guru. I don't want to talk about it. Do you know, Sage, who I used to hire as my head coach? Or my offensive coordinator? It was Jeff Fisher. See, I was never a rushing quarterback. The last Madden game I bought wasn't that long ago. I bought it, and Dan and I played a game, and literally what happened, he played with Lamar Jackson, and he ran for 353 yards. Jeff Fisher had a nice playbook. You're fucking right about that. It was a nice playbook. I always fired Mike McCarthy. I shouldn't have. I like Mike McCarthy's playbook too. It was nice. It was a nice playbook. But yeah, all I gotta say is, like, we play a game and they literally fucking. He just kept bootlegging to the right, and I'd put out concepts. You know what I mean, like a cover 6, or a cover 3 flat, or a cover 2 flat. That's designed to take out those bootlegs. But no, it's AI adaptation is not good enough, I guess, in this day and age. I remember Vince Young. I think I played Vince Young when he was a former Packer, by the way. He was a backup for us. I think he started a game or two. Vince Young, great Tennessee Titan for a year, but he was never great. Great college player. I played with him in one of the college iterations. In fact, before they brought back that college franchise, We had the last hard copy, and that one was going for like $200 almost. So I think that was 15 NCAA 15 or that sort of thing there. But that's got nothing to do with Vince Young. But it was an okay college game. But I don't know, like, let's you know what, we need to make EA great again. How's that sound? Let's make EA great again, and Mexico can fucking pay for it. If they don't want to pay for it to be good, we'll make Mexico pay for it. How's that sound? Sounds pretty good to me. Alright, I'm about to close up shop here. I did read that Red Dead Redemption 2 takes like 50 or 60 hours to beat. So I do want a second and third type of game to play. Not tonight. Probably tomorrow though. So it's not just Red Dead Redemption. I don't want to be a Red Dead Redemption channel, frankly. We'll go to it, but I want some ideas. I don't think I could do much Frostpunk. I will try maybe one more run, but I don't think I'm going to get into Frostpunk. I think Age of Empires is one that I would love to do. I would love if we could get a crew to do it with, and I could take on like 4 of you and just manhandle all of you. I would love that. I'll just take you all out. How's that sound? Well, if you can get them to join your team, have at her. Otherwise, we both know if we 1 versus 1, I'm the stats daddy when it comes to me versus Zhao. We typically play on teams though, but my stats will be better than your stats now. You know this. You know this. Excuse me. Shout out Dairy Queen. Thank you for that burp there, Dairy Queen. Alright, I gotta go charge my phone as it's soon gonna die. And I will talk to you motherfuckers tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.